Okay, so talking things juicy, you've just joined BrainJuicer. You've abandoned the big corporations.
Oh yes, I have.
The innovation director from Sara Lee, and so talk us through this mad move.
Well, I suppose anything that is a bit mad goes with me, and I'm sure you appreciate that. I'm an innovator myself, so I want to be where the buzz is. And after 17 years of trying that within the corporate environment, and sometimes really succeeding to find a hot spot of lots of things going on, I
Claim
figured...
to fame. Out of all those seven, I mean, I know how difficult it is to get anything remotely creative through large companies. Come on, give us something that you think, yes.
Well,
I got
one that I'm particularly proud of is when I was working for Milka, for Kraft Foods, and we were trying to turn around the brand in Holland, which had a very sort of, not a great image, an image of being a bit sort of, from way back when, and very much linked to the Alps, and there are no mountains in Holland really. And we had this Marmorchokolade coming from Germany, which was a sort of, had a kind of pattern inside the chocolate of white spots within a bar of milk chocolate. So, well, you don't need to be very creative to think of a cow when you look at that, do you? So I actually went to my boss then and said, can we sort of go a bit wacky here and give it a Dutch name? And we called it koeienvlekjes, Milka koeienvlekjes, which means cow spots.
Yeah.
And it just immediately gave a wink to what we were doing to the brand, and really helped us also explain to the retailer that we were trying to turn it into a Dutch brand for the Dutch people. And of course, sympathy with cows, and making jokes about cows, and anything that has to do with cow and dairy products is loved by the Dutch. So that was kind of the flagship of our rebuilding Milka in the Netherlands.
Do you realise you've just, in the last 5 minutes, linked the 3 places that you're from? The beef from Argentina, the cow spots from your craft milk example, and of course the Dutch name. And so there you go. You see, it all comes back to our origins in the end. So so BrainJuicer.
I'm excited to be part of BrainJuicer. I've been a fan from the very, very beginning when BrainJuicer got started in the Netherlands. Basically because I was trying to get so many things done within the corporate environment, and it's just difficult to find allies. It's difficult to find ways of getting things across. Innovation within the corporate environment is 10% really hard, brainy work, and 90% walking the talk, massaging things in, getting it done, creating enthusiasm, and that is a very, very long and winding road sometimes, and one in which you really need all the energy you can get to make it happen. So I started actually using, as a client, BrainJuicer research to help me achieve that. But I suppose that I can only work so long with a certain category, and then because of my own innovativeness and own impulse to try new things, I look for new questions, I try to look for new answers, and I think that that's exactly what BrainJuicer does. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about asking questions differently, excited about really scouting for answers and helping people achieve innovation.
Well, it is, obviously everyone watching this will think this is just gloriously scripted, and anyone who knows us well will know nothing is ever scripted. But it is genuinely good to hear that, from an ex-client, someone who experienced it, because it's like when research is at its best, it is inspiring, it is actually insightful, and it kind of makes a difference. And the trouble is, our beef, not to go back to beef, but our beef is that research is too often at its worst, when it's just an 120-page insurance policy, big on numbers, light on insight, and kind of dead on arrival. And it is nice to hear that actually we are being bought and used in the former category, when research can actually move things, and long may it continue.
And when research really becomes the talk of the town as well, because when you talk about those reports, who actually does read them? I've received those as well, and I've just, looked at them and say, okay, what do I do with this? How do I make it my own? How do I turn it into my own words? How do I help the team champion it through the organization and bring the news forward? So ideally for me, it's also working shoulder on shoulder with clients to help them bring their own story and feed their own story and move it forward as well.
So when you join an organisation, I always think it's a time to bring in fresh thinking. You know, too many organisations just assume that it's one-way traffic from, in this case, BrainJuicer to Carola, and this is our way. You know, but it's like, what would you say? Look, I love BrainJuicer and what you're doing. Do you know what I think you should be doing? Or here's an idea that I've, kind of from the outside. What might that be?
I think that where we could really go one step further is really engage in a conversation with clients and not just tell them, these are our products and this is the wonderful things that they would do for you, but really work together and tailor things to help them search for the answers that they're really, really looking for, and really partner with them in that. I think traditionally when you look at market research, you just sit at a table and talk. And what I'd really like to do a lot more of, also because that's where I'm a researcher. I'm really, in a way, kind of intrigued and I'm curious. I suppose that's what it is. I'm just curious and looking for answers. So I just want to sit and listen what worries them. I've been there too, So what's worrying? How can we work and really join forces in that? Because more minds, will come up with more ideas. And give them the degree of certainty we have to find those answers and really, step change the way not only market research is done on our side, but the way clients are, churning out new products, churning out new advertising campaigns, and changing the world, the way we together work with the consumer.
Well, Carola, we are just utterly delighted to have a Swiss-Dutch Argentinian. Now, how about that? If that's not, cosmopolitan, and very Dutch.